How do we avoid using the wrong leadership style in the wrong moments? Leadership is hard. Don't worry, we've got you. Hello, everybody. Welcome to this episode of Growth Beyond Limits, the podcast for leaders. I'm Sean Frederick, founder of Frederick Solutions, and I'll be your host. Whether you are a business professional, manager, or even a student, understanding different leadership models is essential for guiding teams and organizations effectively. In this episode, we'll explore common leadership models, examine their strengths and weaknesses, and provide historical examples to illustrate their practical use. At the end of this episode, you'll be able to identify which leadership style is most effective in specific situations. You'll understand the strengths and weaknesses of each leadership style and have a clear understanding why one leadership style simply isn't enough. So let's jump right in with a quick overview of the 6 most common leadership models. First, autocratic leadership. In this model, the leader makes decisions almost always unilaterally, controlling all aspects of the process. Next is democratic leadership, where decisions are made collectively with input and participation from the group. The third model is transformational leadership. In this example, leaders inspire and motivate followers to achieve extraordinary outcomes and personal growth. This is largely in contrast to the next leadership style, transactional leadership. Leadership is based on a system of rewards and punishments tied to performance. We'll now move on to laissez-faire leadership, where leaders provide minimal direction, allowing team members autonomy in decision-making. Lastly, but very common in workplaces around the globe, is servant leadership. In this very popular model, the leader prioritizes serving others, focusing on the growth and well-being of team members and communities. When I was young, I loved to watch old kung fu movies. They often featured low-quality voiceovers and exaggerated fights between the bad guys and the underdogs. Inevitably, somebody would deliver a monologue explaining why one style was better than the other style. As it turns out, leadership is similar, with different styles having different strengths and different weaknesses. So without further delay, let's highlight the strengths and weaknesses of each of our common leadership models. The autocrat style has the benefit of quick decision-making, clear direction, and is really effective in crisis situations. Conversely, it can reduce creativity, lower morale, and has the risk of creating dependency by the leader's teams. The democratic model creates higher engagement, diverse perspectives, and strong team spirit. However, it will result in slower decisions, possible conflict, and can lack clear direction. Transformational leadership inspires innovation, fosters loyalty, and drives change, but may overlook details, increase risk of team burnout, and is not always practical. The transactional leader provides clear structure, motivates through incentives and measurable outcomes. However, it can result in limited creativity. It can stifle initiative, and it relies on extrinsic rewards. Laissez-faire leaders encourage independence, foster innovation, and their teams experience minimal interference. In inexperienced or unskilled teams, this can lead to confusion, lack of accountability, poor coordination. And lastly, the servant leader, who builds trust and loyalty, empowers team members, and encourages personal growth. However, this model can slow decision-making and risk the perception of lack of authority by leaders, and may not be suitable for high-pressure scenarios. So, how do we avoid using the wrong leadership style in the wrong moments? Leadership is hard. Don't worry, we've got you. Let's start again with the autocratic leadership. It's most effective in emergencies when quick, decisive action is required, such as during a company crisis. Not the best model when creative or knowledge-based environments where innovation and input from team members are crucial. In such settings, autocratic leadership can stifle creativity, decrease motivation, and lead to high turnover, as team members may feel undervalued and disempowered. Democratic leadership is ideal for teams needing high engagement, creativity, and when diverse viewpoints are valuable, such as during product development. It's not so great in crisis situations or emergencies where rapid decisions are required. In these cases, democratic leadership's emphasis on group input and consensus can slow down decision-making, potentially leading to confusion and detrimental delays. Transformational leadership suits organizations undergoing significant change or seeking to inspire employees towards a shared vision, like during mergers or innovative drives, but lacks the necessary structure for highly regulated or routine environments where procedures must be followed closely. For example, manufacturing assembly lines or compliance driven roles. In these contexts, the focus on change, vision, and inspiration may distract from necessary adherence to established protocols and procedures. Transactional leadership is best for routine process driven environments where tasks are clear, such as manufacturing or sales. Transactional leadership isn't ideal for teams or organizations that require innovation, adaptability, or emotional engagement. Transactional leadership's focus on rewards and punishments for specific tasks can limit initiative and creativity, making it unsuitable for dynamic or entrepreneurial environments. Next, let's talk about laissez faire leadership, which works well for highly skilled, self motivated teams, such as research and development groups or creative agencies. But this model isn't sustainable with teams lacking experience, direction, or motivation. In such situations, the absence of guidance and oversight can lead to confusion, lack of accountability, and poor performance, as team members may need more structure and support. Lastly, we'll talk about servant leadership. Servant leadership is especially valuable in mission driven organizations, nonprofits, or environments where trust building and long term development are priorities, such as educational institutions or healthcare teams. I know this won't be popular, but servant leadership isn't ideal for situations requiring rapid top down decision making or environments with severe time constraints. Servant leadership's emphasis on serving and empowering others can slow down processes and may be perceived as indecisive when quick authoritative action is needed. So, what does this look like in the real world when we talk about examples of each of these leadership styles in action? Let's take a few minutes to take a deeper look at notable historical figures and how their leadership styles shaped events, organizations, and movements. Each example illustrates a distinct approach to leadership and its impact on followers and outcomes. Again, we'll start with the autocratic leader. And for this, we'll look at Napoleon Bonaparte. The French military leader and emperor is a classic example of autocratic leadership. He centralized power and made critical decisions himself, often without seeking input from subordinates. This strict authority allowed for rapid mobilization and decisive action, which were all essential during his military campaigns across Europe. His ability to command obedience ensured coordinated efforts on the battlefield, but his styles sometimes led to alienation among allies and subordinates, contributing to his eventual downfall. Next, let's talk about our Democratic leader, Abraham Lincoln. As the 16th president of the United States, Abraham Lincoln demonstrated democratic leadership by actively involving his cabinet, the so-called team of rivals, in decision-making. During the Civil War, he regularly sought diverse perspectives, encouraged debate, and weighed input before making critical choices. This inclusive approach fostered loyalty, generated innovative solutions, and helped maintain unity during a period of national crisis. Lincoln's leadership is often credited with preserving the Union while laying the groundwork for emancipation. And next, we'll discuss one of my favorite transformational leaders, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., leader of the American Civil Rights Movement. He epitomized transformational leadership through powerful oratory, a compelling vision of equality, and personal example. Dr. King inspired followers to pursue social change through nonviolent means. He motivated individuals and communities to look beyond their immediate circumstances and strive for a just society. Dr. King's leadership galvanized a movement that brought about significant legislative and cultural shifts, including the Civil Rights Act and the Voting Rights Act. When I was in business school, professors often discussed our model transactional leader, Jack Welch. As CEO of General Electric from 1981 to 2001, he practiced transactional leadership by setting clear goals and linking rewards or consequences to performance. Welch implemented rigorous performance evaluations, rewarded high achievers, and removed underperformers. His focus on efficiency, accountability, and measurable results transformed GE into one of the world's most valuable companies during his tenure. However, his leadership style also sparked debate about workplace culture and long-term sustainability. In contrast, let's look at the Oracle of Omaha. As an example of laissez-faire leadership, Warren Buffett, current chairman and former CEO of Berkshire Hathaway, is renowned for his laissez-faire leadership style. He delegates extensive autonomy to the managers of Berkshire's many subsidiaries, trusting their expertise and refraining from micromanagement. Buffett provides strategic direction and oversight, but allows leaders to make operational decisions independently. This approach has fostered innovation, accountability, and long-term growth within Berkshire Hathaway, making it a model for decentralized management. Lastly, servant leadership. Mahatma Gandhi is widely recognized as a servant leader. He dedicated his life to serving others, prioritizing their needs, well being, and the development of his followers in the broader community. Gandhi led by example, practicing humility, nonviolence, and self sacrifice. His servant leadership inspired millions to join India's struggle for independence and foster a legacy of social justice and ethical leadership that endures worldwide. So, given what we've discussed today, what is the hallmark of effective leadership? Is organizations and teams face As organizations and teams face constantly evolving challenges, the ability to adapt leadership styles becomes paramount. No single model suits every situation. Successful leaders develop a toolkit of approaches, shifting between styles as circumstances demand. This flexibility not only improves outcomes, but also fosters resilience and growth, both for you and those you lead. In closing, remember, leadership is a journey of continuous learning and development. By understanding the strengths, weaknesses, and contexts of various leadership models, you can become a more effective and adaptable leader. Embrace opportunities to refine your skills, seek feedback, and stay open to new approaches. The best leaders aren't defined by a single style. They're defined by their way to lead with wisdom, empathy, and versatility. Thanks for listening. Stay tuned for our next episode where we'll explore practical strategies to build motivation through leadership. Take care.